Hello everyone, my name is Malcolm Carlisle. I am a student at Arizona State University, and I have been going over a series of courses designed to help prevent suicide in the veteran population. Today's course is on stress management and suicide prevention. We're looking at novel approaches to preventing suicide. There are many links to stress management and suicide prevention. Multiple studies have shown links to stress and suicide. This one in particular here, suicide rates increase in situations of extreme stress. Another, this type of stress overload led to evaluated reservists meeting requirements for mental health treatment at a rate of 42% and active duty at 20% when returning from deployments. So stress does have an impact on suicidal ideations and behaviors, and there are stress management tools that can help relieve this. So let's talk about some definitions as they pertain to stress. First, we have distress, and this is what many of you might associate the term stress with. Stress in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing. This is when we say, oh, I had a bad day at work, a lot of stress. This is what we're usually talking about. And this is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. This is, again, the term we typically apply. And so you can see here that it's very demanding circumstances. And so what's very demanding for one person may not be very demanding for another person. Really, it comes down to how they're able to evaluate the situation and the resources they have. Next up is eustress. This is a neutral impact and it has little impact or lasting effects. Next, we have eustress, and it inspires or motivates you to go beyond present levels of function. Homeostasis, in regards to stress anyway, this is the work of all body systems to achieve balance when dealing with stress. Now, reaching homeostasis for stress does not necessarily mean you are getting in a balance that is good for your body. All right, allostasis. So this is the toll reaching a stress homeostatic balance requires. So if you're under a lot of stress, your body will be able to keep up for a while anyway, right? And you're reaching that homeostatic balance. But the toll your body receives, that's allostasis. And this allostatic load is when the stress reaction, the physical, the emotional, and the psychological systems start to fail. So anyone that is receiving overwhelming stress at some point is going to get to a physical or mental breakdown. All right, other terms here, short-term stress, and this is from sudden or short-term danger, like if you thought a snake was jumping at you. Stress hormone, these cause many of the major stress responses, and your body receives an input, it evaluates the stress. You do have some automated responses, but the stress hormone levels, if you maintain inside of you that it's still a high stress event, then the body will continue to release those chemical compounds that cause the stress response. There's also a relaxation response. Once the body comes back, or once you've decided that it's not a stress, the chemicals that were being released stop, and it helps with some of it. And then there are other chemical responses and functions too that help bring your body back to a relaxed state. And now we have long-term stress. So when the stress response is fully engaged, even when the initial danger is past. So remember, it's really based on perception. So in your head, you have decided there's still a reason to be stressed, right? You still have a reason, perception-based, to have it. This can come from a lot of different things, from a variety of triggers, and it can pose a real physical danger, or it can be from a real physical danger or psychological distress. And you can see, for example, kind of the snake I was talking about earlier, right? You see a snake, it ends up being a snake, so your body relaxes. But if it's a vehicle breaking down, that's not something that the stress is going to immediately just dissipate, because you have a lot of other things you got to keep your stress levels high. Or it could be breaking up with a significant other, spouse, long-term relationship, or even a short-term, depending on how close you were, can cause those stress responses. So some major responses to stress, you've got your physiological. Again, your body responds to your emotions. Depending on what emotional state you feel like you should be in, the body releases chemicals and causes these things to happen. You might get heart palpitations, sweating, dry mouth, fatigue, insomnia, nausea, dizziness, a loss of appetite, high blood pressure. You may have a change in personality traits, especially too if you're in this high stress state. It really messes with your ability to think rationally. And you might have weight loss or weight gain, depending on how long it goes on and how you deal with stress. Everyone's a little bit different. From the cognitive side, you could have impaired memory, disorientation, unrealistic demands, disasterizing, and we're going to go over some of these. Illogical thinking, externalized blame, obsessiveness, loss of humor. You could experience a suicidal ideation. You might have feelings of surrender, or maybe even excessive fantasies. Emotionally, you might feel fear, worry, panic, guilt, anger, denial, hopelessness. Right? And remember, hopelessness is a big key coming from depression that can often lead to suicidal ideation or suicidal behaviors. Numbness, depression, despair, impatience. And then behaviorally, you might experience crying, rage, withdrawal, substance abuse, self-medication, and those two could be tied together. Impulsiveness, phobias, hyperactivity, lethargy, aggression, or even rambling. Overwhelming stress wreaks havoc on emotional stability. So it's important then to identify your sources of stress. And to do that, you need to look closely at your habits, attitudes, and even your excuses, right? Do you explain away stress as temporary? Like, I have a million things to do right now, even though you can't remember the last time you took a break? Do you define stress as an integral part of your work or home life? Things are always crazy around here. Or as a part of your personality. I just have a lot of nervous energy. Do you blame your stress on other people or outside events, or view it as an entirely normal and unexceptional process? So is it everybody else's fault? Or do you accept sometimes there will be stress and that it's normal? So how can you track when these things are happening? Or how can you start to really understand what's causing you stress? With stress journaling. So with each stressful event, write down what caused the stress. And if you're not sure, make a guess. If you're feeling stressed every morning at exactly the same time, there's probably a reason for it. And it may not be a physical thing. I'm not talking about a red light or a stop sign or a snake or something. It could be the act of going to work that's making you feel stress. All right, how you felt, both physically and emotionally. And you can go back and look at the slide and see all the physical and emotional symptoms and kind of take some cues from that and say, hey, did I feel this? Oh, did I feel helpless? Right? It can help you kind of, if you're not used to evaluating these types of things. How you acted in that moment, what your emotions were, and what you did to make yourself feel better, or if you were able to do anything to make yourself feel better. So here are 4 A's of managing stress. Avoid. Learn to say no. Stay away from those that stress you. take some environmental control and schedule analysis. And that's where the journaling comes in, looking at your schedule, looking at the environment that you are in. Now, I understand if you're a veteran or military, you may not always be able to control or avoid all of your stresses. So that's where things like conflict resolution, empathy, resources really start to come into play. All right, the next A is alter. So you alter the situation, right? Express your feelings in a healthy way. Seek compromise and balance. Next is adapt. Adapt to the stressor. So reframing, big picture evaluation, which is again trying to look outside of yourself. Reframing is a way of thinking about things that we're going to cover. Standards adjustment. Everything is not going to be a crisis. And then practice gratitude or being happy about things. Next up and finally is acceptance. So acknowledge the uncontrollable, because there are going to be things in your life that you don't have control over. Find growth in personal challenges. Forgive and share feelings. And you're going to notice some similarities here in conflict resolution for some of these things. And there are overlapping connections for stress management in a lot of different activities. So avoid isolation. You want to take part in physical activity, sleep well, eat well. All these things will help you manage your stress. So I'm going to go over a couple of relaxation techniques. Deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, body scan meditation, mindfulness, rhythmic movement and mindful exercise, visualization, yoga or Tai Chi, and self-massage. So deep breathing, this one's pretty simple and easy to do. It's a focus on full cleansing breaths. It's a simple but powerful way to relax. It's easy to learn. You can do it almost anywhere, and it's really a great way to get your stress levels in check. So deep breathing is the cornerstone of many of the other relaxation practices. So if you want to do more, it's probably a good idea to start with this one, and you can even combine it with other techniques like aromatherapy and music. Now, there are even a lot of apps, plenty of YouTube videos, sound podcasts that can help you go through the process, and you really only need a few minutes. But once you get the process down, you can do it on your own too. So for this, you want to sit back comfortably with your back straight. You can put one hand on your chest, your other on your stomach. Breathe through your nose. The hand on your stomach should rise. The hand on your chest should move very little. Exhale through your mouth, pushing out as much air as you can while contracting your abdominal muscles. Okay, so remember, breathe through your mouth, contract with your abdominal muscles. The hand on your stomach should move in as you exhale. Your other hand on your chest should move very little. Continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Try to inhale enough that your lower abdomen rises and falls, and you can count slowly as you exhale. All right? So I'd like you to take a few minutes and just try this. And as you can see, hand here, hand on your stomach, breathing in, right? You should feel your hand moving on your stomach. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And I really want you to pay attention, right, to how you feel. What is it that you think about when you try and relax? Maybe some things around you in your environment that would stop you from relaxing, right? Is it you need to think about your environment placement, where you could go to practice this meditation, and if you'll try it again, and if you remember, right, I want you to think about the benefits of stress reduction. For some of you, trying to purposely relax, right, may seem very foreign to you, but it's definitely something worthwhile doing. All right, another technique you could try by yourself is progressive muscle relaxation. And so for this, it's a two-step process in which you systematically tense and then relax different muscle groups in the body. With regular practice, it can give you a really nice familiarity with what tension as well as relaxation really feel like in different parts of the body. Some of you may notice when you're feeling particularly stressed, you feel tightness in your neck, in your shoulders, in your back. There is a process called bracing where you're getting all these micro tensions and it causes your muscles to tense up that way. And doing this can help you really recognize when that bracing is occurring. All right, so it can help you, kind of respond to those first signs of muscular tension that accompany stress. And so when you allow the body to relax, your mind will often follow. So how to do progressive muscle relaxation: loosen your clothing, take off your shoes, get comfortable, take a few minutes. So you can see you got the deep breathing exercise there. Breathe in and out, nice slow deep breaths. When you're ready, you can shift your attention. You can start with your right foot. Take a moment to focus on the way it feels, and then slowly tense the muscles in your right foot, squeezing as tightly as you can, and hold for a count of 10. After that, relax the foot. Focus on the tension flowing away, how your foot feels as it becomes limp and loose. And then stay in that relaxed state for a moment, breathing deeply and slowly. And then you're going to do the same for your left foot, and you can work your way up the body, the calf, the thighs, the buttocks, the abdomen, the chest, the back, your neck, your triceps, your traps, right? All the way up your body. And it could take you a little practice, but you can get used to it. Okay, next up is body scan meditation. And this is something that focuses your attention on various parts of your body. And so like progressive muscle relaxation, you start with your feet and work your way up. But instead of tensing and relaxing, you just focus your mind on that part of the body. You don't even have to label the sensation, right? You're just being aware of the presence of the body part. So if you want to try this, you can lie on your back, legs uncrossed, arms relaxed at your side. I know this gentleman here is posing. That is not what you're doing, right? Just remember, you're going to lay on your back, legs uncrossed, arms relaxed at your side. Open your eyes or close, whatever makes you feel better. Focus on your breathing for about 2 minutes until you feel relaxed, and then focus on your right foot or the toes of your right foot. Notice any sensations you feel and focus on your breathing. Imagine each deep breath flowing to your toes. Remain focused on this area for 1 to 2 minutes. Then move to the sole of your right foot. And then you can keep going up your right ankle, your calf, your knee, your hip. Do the same for the left side. Then move your way up through your body, the torso, the lower back, the abdomen, and pay attention to any areas where you feel pain or discomfort. Once you've done this, relax in complete silence and stillness, really thinking about how your body feels. And if you closed your eyes, open them up and stretch if you feel like you want to. So I'd like you to, if you don't do it with the body scan, that's fine. Do it with the progressive muscle tension activity, right? Take a few minutes, go through it, and then write down how you feel. Some of you may feel an opposition to this relaxation. It's not something you're used to doing, and it's something you might have to try a few times to really feel relaxed. I know a lot of people love massages. Massages for me make me feel very uncomfortable, and so it's something you want to be mindful of. And think about impediments to relaxation, where you could practice this meditation, and if you'll try this again. And then again, think about the benefits to stress reduction. Okay, there are other techniques to explore. Mindfulness meditation. This is a non-judgmental, moment-to-moment awareness of sensation, perception, and emotion and thoughts that lead to states of intense concentration of inner stillness. Visualization or guided imagery. This one's very popular too. Using positive images to bring healthy changes in your body. Or in this case, it's the emotional aspect tied to these things, controlling your emotions, that really help with this. Yoga, Tai Chi, transcendental meditation. A lot of these use mantras and mantras. These are just verbal stimuli to reduce the thought processes or patterns. If you've ever heard the Om or hear them repeat a phrase over and over again, they're using those mantras to do that. And then there's self-massage. All right, benefits to meditation. All right, and there is definitely a consensus on at least some of these or the following things. So accomplished meditators were noted to have a higher brain function even when not meditating. Mindfulness meditation can reduce stress reactions. All right, it can lower stress levels. It can reduce high blood pressure. It can decrease metabolic rate, which is your heart rate, improve breathing efficiency, and enhance concentration. Other things it can help do is it can reduce depression, which is a common link to helplessness and suicide. It can increase feelings of self-control, improve memory, immune function, sleep, and reduce chronic pain. And chronic pain is an issue that a lot of veterans deal with. Other things you can do to help manage your stress, one of them is cognitive restructuring. This is definitely something you want to get help with, along with cognitive behavioral therapy, right? This is changing how you experience and respond to experiences by focusing on how you perceive them. This is really a fundamental shift in what you view as being stressful. And through mindset, self-talk, actualization, you can change the impact of events from highly charged emotionally to manageable. Because remember, most stress is self-inflicted. The sense of having resources and a degree of power can change thinking and allow you to act constructively. So having a positive appraisal of an event versus a negative appraisal. How we see and perceive the events changes the emotional response and can lessen or create allostatic load, and that's that damage to your body systems from those high stress or high sustained stress. All right, some irrational impediments to stress management. First up is absolute demands. This is the unwillingness or inability to concede that life is not fair. Listen, I would love that life was fair, but oftentimes life is unfortunately not fair, and there may be things we cannot change. Accepting the reality of a situation and working within the things that you can control will do more than whining. Catastrophizing. This is thinking that you are suffering the most. This perception leads to an emotional response and negative appraisal of events. Yes, awful things do happen to people, but many life events are usually annoying or inconvenient, not true disasters. Other irrational impediments to stress management. Low frustration tolerance. This is where you expect all needs to be instantly met, only getting pleasure instead of planning on the future, right? Impatience when inconvenienced, avoidance of work, failing to fulfill plans that lead to future goals because it's hard now, or maybe procrastinating. And often these, those without choice can accomplish amazing things, right? If you procrastinate and do all these things, you're really hurting yourself in the future. Next up is personalization. This is a demand that people or things be a particular way, usually to the benefit of the demand holder. This could be that when it rains, someone is out to get you, or the weather is out to get you, right? I promise you the weather is not out to get you. Sometimes it just rains. This is measured assessment and rational thoughts. It really can improve this thought pattern. Finally, we have absolute judgments, and these are defining things or yourself with generalizations from one or more examples. and you see this a lot. Maybe somebody messed up once or more than one time. That does not mean you should be saying, I'm a failure or I'm incompetent. Instead, you can reframe that statement and say, I did not handle that as well as I want, so I need to improve in some area. And you can see how a statement like, I'm a failure, is a finalized thought. Whereas with the other statement, right, I need to improve, it gives space for those types of things, and it really impacts you differently. All right, if you want more stress management tips, you can go to prevention.va.gov, healthy living, manage stress. The link is here. To get help with your stress management needs, most medical facilities offer mental health services. Just remember, self-talk and the language that you use do matter. Be kind to yourself. Get help if you need it. There are learned skills or learnable skills that can help you with stress management. I really thank you for your time. My name is Malcolm Carlisle, and please get help with the stress if you need it.